At the moment, sci-fi games just can't seem to have the impact that they used to. Games like Mass Effect truly left a mark on the gaming space. So what exactly did Mass Effect do right that these games aren't? Exploration. There aren't enough games out there in the AAA space that do sci-fi exploration, or if they do it well. Mass Effect 1 is a breath of fresh air that may not do the perfect job of balancing story and open worldness, but does it well enough to build the Mass Effect universe. What better way to start a trilogy than with the freedom to explore everything it has to offer? You can go and explore the Bring Down the Sky asteroid heading for a small colony and meet the Batarians, but you don't have to. You can ask that Elcor diplomat why he states an emotion before speaking his mind, but you don't have to. Nothing is factored into the ending, it's just there for you to feast on if you so desire. It lends itself to another incredible feature that Mass Effect 1 does better than 2 or 3 by a country parsec. When you're not touring the moon on the Mako and taking in the sights, or tediously scavenging for Asari writings, the Codex can take up even more of your time should you so desire. More than that, the game constantly presents you with investigate options to learn more about Tali and her people, or Joker and his history, Anderson and his beef with Saren, and let's not forget Vigil and the many questions presented to us. Even having played Mass Effect 3 before 1, Sigil gives the player further insight into the plans of the Protheans, and how they saved the current cycle from extinction. It doesn't give you enough insight into the ancient race in the game itself, if you won't read the Codex, but that doesn't matter, as the world only expands in future installments. Mass Effect 2 is still a beautiful main course teased by Mass Effect 1. The pleasing starter. Mass Effect 2 might have one beat on story, but beyond that, Mass Effect 1 has a villain you can understand. Saren isn't just more down-to-earth than villains like Harbinger or Sovereign. He deliberately interferes with humanity, and stems from humanity's own hatred of his race in the Turians. He makes characters like Ashley seem like they have a point, by just being so needlessly cruel, but he does it perfectly. With a world like Mass Effect, you can learn about the First Contact War, which helps us understand villains like Saren, because unlike the Reapers, he is a living person we can understand. We learn more about the scars of First Contact from Kaidan's brain camp experience.
The name of Commander Vernus, a real hard-ass. He basically had a free pass to break us if it would turn out a decent biotic.
Which only further fleshes out Turians as a race in the world. Saren, on the face of it, is a bit of a standard Lex Luthor maniac type villain, but he does the job, and actually serves as our first true example of what indoctrination does to a being if they survive long enough, leading us to actually feel sorry for him, even redeeming him to a point at the end, leading him to take his own life in the hopes of stopping Sovereign. If villains like these existed in Mass Effect 2 and 3, the trilogy would only be more legendary. Gameplay. One feature that the Legendary Edition improved on, which was already pretty impressive when Mass Effect 1 first released, but only improved further, was the gameplay. Sure, on controller it might feel a bit awkward mapping all these different powers on the power wheel, but the enemies feel varied. The Geth Colossus presents a challenge, and yet is infinitely fun to just ram with the Mako. Turrets move, creating a fun challenge, and explosive cats on the Bring Down the Sky DLC exists to make you give up and try Dark Souls, since that might actually be easier. But the world creatively presents obstacles, and the open worldness only opens up those possibilities in ways that linear sequels to the series just can't really achieve. And not having spacebar or just one button that does everything is pretty nice too. Features such as biotic strength and tech strength aren't a necessary addition to character selection, but they help encourage the player to explore new characters, to help them get to know the crew. Which brings me to the crew. When it comes to crew, Mass Effect 1 doesn't hold your hand. I've heard stories of those that dove into Mass Effect blind to the key role companions play in shaping their lives and your story. If you don't talk to Rex, for example, and you just blitz through the main story, you're probably going to be forced to kill him, or have Ashley kill him. And with Ashley, it feels like you're incentivizing her xenophobia, which just feels worse. The point is, there is no hand-holding telling you that you have to talk to ex-companion. The game lets you face the consequences, unlike Mass Effect 2. The game kind of gives you warnings when you should wrap up loyalty missions, but the crew in Mass Effect 1 exist to encourage you to get to know and understand the races of this universe. Rex's family history gives you an insight into what the Krogan had to do to survive, or just try to avert another war with the other races, and Garrus presents a case for killing hostages to stop a serial killer, almost giving reason behind the xenophobia of characters like Ashley. because there is no clear-cut right answer, and the moral questions continue to make Mass Effect choices the incredible experience it is throughout all 3 games, and the characters are a key part of it. They feel real because of their views, and that's what other games like Starfield failed to do right. The adventure should be a feature of sci-fi, but it's those we go on that journey with that make it special. But beyond Mass Effect, Tim is trying to find another sci-fi game to rival the fun he had with the trilogy. His latest video is on screen now. This has been Craig from TK Games, signing off.
The game is one of the most immersive and rewarding space games out there, though. The sheer scale alone is mind-blowing, with real star systems and planets that you can visit. The map in the game is the same map that Mass Effect used, but it makes Mass Effect version look really, really small in comparison.